It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning and welcome to the Travel and Cruise Industry News podcast on this Tuesday, the 4th day of October 2022, coming to you from Central Virginia area right outside of Lynchburg, Bedford County. Today, of course, the lead story is Norwegian drops all pandemic protocols. Also this morning, Orlene dissipates. Tropical storm Payne forms. Carnival adds fine and costs for violation of code of conduct. Bermuda drops all testing, but keeps the $40 fee. That and a lot more live here at 11 o'clock. Today is National Cinnamon Roll Day, folks. Now, that's one that I can go along with. I do enjoy a good cinnamon roll. That's just one of my weaknesses, no doubt about it. When I'm on my cruises, I'll normally find a cinnamon roll in the buffet in the mornings. It's kind of normal for me. If you're listening via the podcast, welcome aboard. You can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcasts from. All the big guys, the major hitters, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podchaser, Pandora, Stitcher, all of those guys. Just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and up pops the fat travel guy. I post pictures and clips, often either from my cruising or from someone in the cruise community and Chillie Cruises family. So if you ever want to jump over from the podcast to the video feed, in the description of the podcast every day, there'll be a little link that says click here to access video feed. Click on it and you'll jump over to the video feed. And you can see the pictures and clips or whatever and come right back. Before we get to the news this morning, I do have several things to go over. This is from our buddy Pete's combination Passions for Cruises and Cruises for Solos. 300 solos on the Virtuoso. Pete says this morning a wonderful group of solos meeting in reception to discover La Coruna together. I cannot wait to hear about all their adventures, as this is a hosted cruise. I'm there every port day to make sure nobody is alone. Had a wonderful meeting with our captain and cruise director. Let's see, that's this one. Captain, and no, that's the crew, and this one is the captain and cruise director. And he can confirm that they're changing solo meetings to hosted by a member of the entertainment team. And they will be doing their very best to make sure the solos on board and all those booked on the Virtuoso have an enjoyable cruise. They've also confirmed the bar, which they've been using at 5:30 meetup before dip, is now going to be open at 5, so people have a time to grab a pre-dinner drink. Chris, the cruise director, and his team listened to all the feedback, and Pete is sure that the Virtuoso will be a wonderful ship for solos to cruise on in the future. Loved the silent disco last night. Can't wait to hear about La Coruna today. And then this is Pete finally got to meet whoever that is. I can't remember the names. But anyway, that's Pete. And Passion for Cruises and Cruises for Solos. 300 solos on one ship is awesome. So I've been following along with that. All right, this is our buddy Bubba and Lynn. Bubba Schumar. He's been on our broadcast numerous times. They just finished a river cruise, first one they've been on, so we're gonna have to talk to Bubba about that. And then they took the bus into Rotterdam, where they got on the Rotterdam. So they're now on board the Rotterdam, and this is already his favorite bartender in the ocean bar on the Rotterdam. Of course, Bubba posts the daily drink of the day for all Holland America fans. So, and that's now grown to bazillion people. All right, our buddy Bethany down in Tampa Bay, she has started posting on her blog called Bethany Explores. She's kicking off a new series on the travel blog today where I'll recap my 2019 Tulips and Beer River Cruise on Avalon. Check out part 1 and follow along as Bethany explores Amsterdam. I got to remember to put a link to Bethany's blog in the description of today's show. It is really well done. I read the entire post this morning. It is very well done. Congratulations to Bethany on that. She's got wonderful photographs to the whole thing. It is really awesome. So good job, Bethany. We'll have to have her back on pretty soon just to talk about that. So, all right, Hot Air Tom, he was up there in Nova Scotia, Peggy's Cove. This is one of the things he was really looking forward to on this cruise, was to finally get to Peggy's Cove. I've been to Peggy's Cove twice now and loved it. That's a bagpiper down there piping away. Of course, this is the thing that I like the most about Peggy's Cove. That's sideways, but it's the lobster dinners up there. I can eat several of those, and usually do. And of course, you get the bib, as Hot Air Tom has, and then a little dessert afterwards. So that's Hot Air Tom up there in Peggy's Cove, Nova Scotia. Speaking of Peggy's Cove, I put an addition on my schedule this morning for 2023. May the 23rd, I'm going to be on Liberty of the Seas out of Bayonne. I've never been on Liberty. I sailed from Bayonne. It's just a 4-nighter. It goes to Halifax, Nova Scotia, and comes back to Bayonne. But there were reasons behind the scenes that I did that. So anyway, I'll be on Liberty of the Seas, May the 23rd, 4-nighter to Halifax out of Bayonne, New Jersey. So, all right, guys, I'll be back with today's news and lots more here at 11 after a word from one of our network sponsors. All right, we start off with Norwegian today. Norwegian Cruise Line, as of October the 4th, will drop all health and safety restrictions implemented during the pandemic, including pre-cruise testing, vaccination requirements, and mask-wearing guidelines. While there may still be very limited destination-specific requirements, this represents the first major cruise line to commit to largely dropping all requirements for all sailings. And of course, that'll be a welcome return to pre-pandemic cruising by many of you guys. Not necessarily me. I'm not saying that I totally agree with that. But anyway, There's a lot of people out there that have been looking forward to this day. The cruise line will now welcome all travelers, regardless of vaccination status, without the need for any pre-cruise testing. Not real wild about that. Onboard protocols such as enhanced cleaning and sanitation, upgraded ionizing air filters, and improved medical facilities continue to be standard practice aboard all Norwegian ships, and that will continue. The cruise line also has quarantine facilities available on all ships if needed. All right. We do have to talk about the weather this morning. Hurricane Orlene dissipated this morning, started off this morning that she was still on the map. She's now gone, but heavy rainfall threat continues today from Orlene. The remnants were located about 105 miles east-northeast of Mazatlan. The remnants are moving toward the northeast about 6 miles an hour. Currently, it's got maximum sustained wind of 25. And the remnants are expected to dissipate through the afternoon. Orlene is expected to produce an additional inch or two of rain across portions of western Mexico, bringing storm totals to 10 inches locally. Of course, the rainfall could lead to flash flooding as well as possible landslides. Now, if you'll notice, Tropical Storm Payne, this isn't going to be much, folks, but it is a tropical storm. It's moving northwestward now, which is a kind of similar path to many of the storms in the Pacific this year. The center was located about 450 miles south-southwest of the southern tip of Baja. Payne is moving toward the northwest about 6. A general northwestward motion is expected through tonight, followed by a gradual turn to the west tomorrow and Thursday. I don't see this impacting land at all unless there's a massive change. Currently, it's about 40 miles an hour. It's a small area too, very small tropical cyclone. Only extends about, tropical storm force winds only extend about 35 miles from the center. Pressure's 1,006. I don't see this doing a whole lot, quite frankly. Now, we also have 2 systems in the Atlantic. That map has disappeared. What do you know? Let's see if I can pull it up real quick. I must, for some reason, I'm shuffling things and it's eliminating them instead of just moving my schedule around. So let me see if I can get this up quickly for you. That would be a 1, and I've got to upload that. So sorry about the little bit of dead air, folks, as I'm trying to dance on the fly to get this up in a hurry. There we go. All right, there's 2 systems. One is probably nothing. The Yellow X, 20% chance of development in the next 48 hours, 40% over 5 days. So it's worth just keeping an eye out for that. It's east of the Windward Islands. The one we have to really watch, though, is the Red X. That's an East Tropical Atlantic. It's a broad low-pressure system. It's a few hundred miles west-southwest of Cabo Verde Islands. Environmental conditions are currently conducive for development, and a tropical depression is likely to form today or tomorrow, while moving northwestward about 10 miles an hour over the eastern tropical Atlantic. Upper-level winds are expected to become less conducive for development by Wednesday and Thursday, but still there's a chance of further formation at 80% for the next 48 hours and 80% for the next 5 days. So clearly we got to watch that one. It would be nice, folks, if all these things would just go away. I would like that ever so much. All right. The next story this morning: in recent weeks, Carnival Cruise Line has amended and updated its code of conduct policy to clarify what types of behaviors are unacceptable and why is it important to maintain a safe and respectful atmosphere for all guests. The initial changes and clarification of the policy were in response to several altercations on board different ships, including a recent incident aboard Carnival Magic sailing into New York, a second altercation on Carnival Elation sailing from Jacksonville, and then one again on the Carnival Sunrise, which actually carried over to be two. The cruise line has quietly added cost to that policy, with the possibility of a $500 fine and other associated costs guests may bear if they violate the code of conduct policy. Now, I do not disagree with this. As a matter of fact, I'm completely in agreement with what Carnival's done. However, the only part of this that I don't agree on, the part that I disagree on from the code of conduct policy, and it's not the policy itself, is Carnival refuses to take any responsibility for their part of these altercations. Their part is the fact of the drink policy that's so expensive that people think to get their money worth, they got to have 15, 18, 20 drinks a day. And also, one of these altercations happened at 5 a.m. in the nightclub. It was still open at 5 a.m. So, okay, Carnival, if you really want to do something, I don't mind you finding jackasses that start an altercation and have a brawl on the ship. Don't mind that at all. You need to buck up and to take some responsibility and make some changes of your own. Just my thoughts. All right, Bermuda. Oh, by the way, before I get to that, a Carnival Splendor has set sail from Sydney, officially restarting the cruise line operations in Australia for the first time in more than 2 years. I know that's not a picture of that. That's for the next story. The momentous start is just the beginning for Carnival Cruises in Australia, with the newly rebranded Carnival Luminosa beginning her journey to the new home port in Brisbane, where she will begin offering cruises in November. Congratulations to that. There was another. Okay, I got to go back and look for that one too. Bermuda is further relaxing its travel protocols, now removing all testing requirements for incoming cruise ship passengers starting October 25th. The easement follows the earlier relaxation of the entry requirements introduced on August 22nd. The much discussed $40 travel authorization will remain in place. So if you're going to Bermuda, you got to cough up $40, folks. That's going to stay. The first cruise ships that will be able to take advantage of the new protocols are Norwegian Joy and Carnival Magic, both arriving October 25th. Any ships with calls scheduled to Bermuda before October 25th must comply with the current regulations. So that wraps up the news portion of today. However, I'm looking back over this. I had another picture somewhere. It was one of Jordan and Jared in Hawaii last night. Let me see if I can grab that one again. Maybe that is on. No, it's not there. Let's see if it's here. Wow. That's it. Okay. So a second picture disappeared on me. So there it is. That's Jordan and Jared last night at a luau in Honolulu. And this morning they sailed for Australia on Celebrity Eclipse. What an awesome cruise that's going to be. But anyway, they went to Hawaii and then got on the Eclipse, and they're heading for Australia. So congratulations to Jordan and Jared. I wish I was with them. That would be a stitch. Maybe one of these days I'll make that. All right, we got a ton of comments this morning. Somebody's bound to be fussing at me. Mike's with us. Good morning, Mike. Hi there, Tom. There you go. I was talking about you a little bit ago. Last full day of the cruise. One suitcase is filled. Nikki says, good morning. Nikki, how did your shot go yesterday? Your shots, your booster and your flu shot? I'm taking a COVID test now to make sure I'm safe. To all of you in the chat room. We appreciate that, hot air, Tom. But definitely keep us safe. I've made it a habit when I get off a cruise, I test myself. And then I test myself again on the 5th day when I've gotten off the cruise. That's just to help keep my family safe since I'm out in the big bad world and taking a chance on bringing home germs. But anyway, I do that now as just a matter of protocol for me. Gretchen's with us. Hi, Gretchen. Hi, Tom. About the sync, not the COVID test. Oh, hi, Tom. About the sync, not the COVID test. Nikki says hi to everybody. Cindy's with us. Hi, Cindy. I've got to call and order up my scooter today for our upcoming cruise. I'm actually doing 3 cruises on that trip. I'm doing Serenade of the Seas up from Tampa, and then I'm running over to West Palm Beach and getting on Margaritaville at Sea, and then back to Tampa to meet up with Cindy on Carnival Paradise. So I'm really looking forward to that. Everybody's still saying hello to everybody else. Cheap MCL couldn't do a second bag of free laundry for a 12-day cruise. Sorry about that, hot air, Tom. Travels with Lizzie Lou's with us. Hi, Lizzie. Carol's with us. Good morning, Carol. That dummy looks like the guy from Disney's movie. Yeah, I agree. And I forget, Pete had a comment on that with who he is, and I just don't pay attention to that stuff. Cindy says, took 3 COVID tests, all negative. I'm usually good for a spring, fall sinus infection. I'm sure the lack of sleep on a 10-hour plus flight didn't help. Yeah, I know. I have trouble with that. That's one of the reasons I hate flying. But if I'm going to do anything in Europe, I got to get back to being used to flying again. And I don't want to spend for first class. I'm too damn cheap. So Gretchen says son's house just had part of the bird cage down. Wow. Rest in peace, Loretta Lynn. I had not heard that. Ooh, man, I loved her. One of my favorite Loretta Lynn stories, when I was in Vegas, I got tickets to see Loretta Lynn, and that was with who would later become the second wife, the one in Pittsburgh. But I had tickets to the Loretta Lynn concert and went to see her, and her warm-up act was a comedian named Lonnie Shore. I don't know if any of you remember him back that far ago, but he was one of the funniest people I've ever heard in my life. And when I lose control laughing, I mean, I lose total control, and then anything's funny. And there I am on the seat right next to the stage, just literally tears running down my throat, my face through his entire show. And he must have gone backstage after his portion was over and told her about me in the front row, because she ended up doing almost her entire concert, like right in our laps. I mean, she was right there, then stayed with us almost the whole show. That was a fantastic show. I loved Loretta Lynn. Sorry to hear that one. Wow. Gretchen says, I'll see him tonight and pass on the armpit of Florida information. Cindy says, not smart, NCL. What level are you with them? I just made platinum. Hot air's on up there with NCL. Gretchen, we had a few palm fronds in the yard, not even any shingles blown off. Very good. Sapphire, hot air Tom is. Emily's with us. Hello, gang. Hi, Em. Sonny's here. Hi, Sonny down in Mississippi. Of course, everybody's saying back and forth and good mornings and everything. Sonny says, glad you're feeling better, Cindy. I got back from Alaska last week and surprisingly did not get sick. Others on the cruise did. Em says it's cold there and the 50s, cloudy and rainy. Hot air says Chillie's computer is hungry, needs more input, like number 5 in that Steve Gutenberg movie. Short circuit. Yeah. Beautiful sun here, but cold, 57 degrees. I haven't been outside today. I haven't even looked outside. From what I can see, it looks like it's still cloudy here. We haven't had it's been cold, cool, not cold, cold. You know, highs in like 60 and lows down in the 40s at night. So most days I end up with a sweatshirt on. Hot air says very gray here and rough seas again, foggy. Watching out for fishing boats out of Boston. Tom, that movie reference went right over my head. I'm glad, Nikki, that you're not the only one. But don't complain, Tom. You're still on a cruise. Yes, indeed, Tom. I'm not. I'm 5 weeks that I'm going to be without being on a boat, and I don't like that. That was really funny this morning when I was booking my May Liberty cruise. I had the girl laughing because I was acting silly. Emily almost forgot about that movie, Hot Air. Test results negative. Very good. It's safe to have Hot Air Tom in the chat room. That's good to know. Emily, you're always thought of as a youngster in this group. Yep, she's a young chick. To go along with the somewhat well-rounded chicks. How's that? I'll be politically as incorrect as possible. Chillie Cruises, do you have any factual information on New York plan to hire an NCL ship for housing immigrants? People have mentioned both getaway and escape. I know the mayor is talking about it. I can't see it happening unless they're going to pay a huge number for NCL to give up a ship for any length of time. They're all sailing now. They don't have any ships laid up now. So, no, I don't have any factual information. It's all speculation, both from the city of New York and from anybody that's sailing on any of the ships. There's nothing that I've seen yet. Sonny says, I'd like to see a cheaper drink package for maybe 5 drinks a day limit. Yeah. Yeah, I'm diamond on Royal. So now I get 4 drinks a day. This is part of my diamond, level. That's enough for me. Maybe I'd have a day or 2 in there that I might have 1 or 2 more, but unlikely. So, and then when I go to the next level, diamond plus or whatever they call it, I don't know. I haven't looked ahead that far. The next level, it goes up to 5, I think. But yeah, 4 drinks a day, which now will be included on any Royal Caribbean ship that I go on. I mean, you know, that's a lot for me anymore. I'm not like it used to be. I don't drink like I did 20 years ago. But, but yeah, that would be a sensible drink package, Sonny. I completely agree with you. Offer that for say 5 drinks a day, be 50, 51 or $52. So man, do a 5 drink a day package of, even if it's bar shelf liquors, not getting into the expensive stuff, for like $40 or something a day. Something sensible. I mean, MSC, when I was on MSC last, it was like $99 for the week. So, and I know they didn't lose money on it, but it was dirt cheap. But Royal Caribbean and Carnival and Norwegian, I mean, they're charging you through the nose for the drink package. But I completely agree, Sonny. That would make sense, and the current policies, I don't think do. And I think that's part of the reason that they're having problems with brawls. Hot Air says that's a good idea too. Sonny says Emily's still a baby. Yeah, to us she is, Sonny. She says she's a babe in arms, drinking her wine and taking care of the dogs. NCL better not use Escape. I have that booked in March. And they're not going to, there's no way that they're going to do a big popular ship. If anything, it would be like, one of the small, older ship like Empress or, maybe Serenade, one of the older ships. That's the only thing that could even be under consideration. None of the bigger modern ships. It's just not going to happen. Watch JJ Cruise video, surprise birthday present with Around the World Cruise. Very sweet. Oh, they're doing Around the World. I did not know that. I haven't had time to go over and catch up with them. That's pretty cool. I was not aware of that. I thought they were just going to Australia. Didn't realize this was part of an Around the World deal. Huh. I'll have to go do some more research on that now. Thank you, Sonny. I appreciate that because I did not know that. I haven't had time to follow them lately because I've been busy as heck. So, Lizzie says, so proud of Pete. I am too. Pete's found his niche. I knew that as soon as Pete started building cruises for solos, that man, he found his lot in life after all those years of being a bit actor. Yeah, yes, he was on a television show for a lot of years, but still, man, he found his niche now. And now that he's hooked up with Passions for Cruising, God bless him. I'm tickled for him. I can't wait for their program to come to the States. I'll be happy to host cruises for them in a heartbeat. But yeah, I love the way they're doing the solo packages over there. It's phenomenal. So both flu shot and booster were great for me. The booster made Roger's arm sore. And that's funny. This booster was the only one that made my arm sore. I had actually little side effects that day too, which who knows if that was from the shot or from the flu shot. But yeah, I felt crappy that day. And then the next day or two, I had a little bit of a sore arm. So glad it was no problem for you, Nikki. That's cool. Emily says, very good, Nikki and Roger. I remember Lonnie Shore, funny guy. Man, he was hysterical that night. My goodness. The ship has the worst internet, will not stay connected to my work computer. Ooh, that's terrible. The internet cafe did give me a $50 credit. Well, that's one thing. Although, we were lucky out there when we did our live stream. That was pretty good. But I don't know where the Wi-Fi came from. So anyway, funny, while I can't stay connected to work, Chillie show has had minimum buffering. Well, that's good. Glad that's happened at least. Emily says, I'm 47, babe in arms, swaddling clothes. Emily, just keep in mind, I have underwear that's 47. What can I say? We love you, Emily. You know that. Chillie, you mentioned that you're sailing various cruise lines in the next few months. What is your favorite cruise line and why? Tough question. Number one, well, when I first started cruising, I cruised Carnival because back in those days, I mean, unless you were wealthy, that was all you could cruise on. Yeah, that was all you could cruise on. So, like my first 20 some cruises, I don't even remember the number now, 28 or 29 cruises were on Carnival because that's all I could do. Then when I started doing the shows and started doing videos and learning how to do videos and started back cruising again, then I really gotten into the swing of things and I started spreading out a little bit. Then I had, my first mobility challenges. It's been about 6 years ago now. And I was on a Norwegian cruise when I had my first scooter. And then, of course, the pandemic hit, and I'll go through cancer twice now and chemo. And thankfully, the second type of chemo, the $11,000 a month pills. I'm not losing my hair. I'm not having the tremendous side effects. So I got back to cruising heavy this year. So I've done 14 cruises already. I have 4 more scheduled. So I'll have 18 cruises by the end of the year. Carnival is probably a bit too party-ish for me anymore, although I'm going on Carnival with Cindy in a month, roughly, or a little less. I'm going on Carnival with Pittsburgh Jason next fall on, I don't remember which ship, one of the other Carnival ships. I loved Holland America because of the food. I liked Holland America's entertainment too. Again, Holland America is more for an older demographic, and I'm an older demographic. Norwegian, I like what they've done as far as solo cabins that they offer now on most ships. However, I don't like the way they price them because they don't really give you a bargain. They're still hitting you pretty much double. So I prefer the way somebody like MSC, I sailed with them with no solo supplement added on. So I like that a lot. And I was perfectly satisfied with MSC. And then I've sailed more now with Royal Caribbean this year for a number of reasons. One, I really like the Royal Caribbean food. I like their service. I like their activities. I just like their ships. I like the crews and staff, especially. Um, well, it would be really hard for me to pick one, so I'm going to probably say right now it would be Royal Caribbean overall, a combination of everything. I know that's a long answer to that question, but yeah. But keep in mind, there's never a bad cruise for me. I'm always very happy on every cruise. Rarely have I been unhappy with food. I mean, yeah, Royal Caribbean, I know, especially in the main dining rooms, I know the menus inside out and backwards. So I know exactly what to order on a given day that they do well and I like. So I always love the food on Royal Caribbean. Um, One of the problems I have with Royal Caribbean is the solo meetups. They always have solo meetups at 9:30 at night. Well, because I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning researching what's going on in Europe and stuff for this show, I'm not up at 9:30 at night many nights, or at least where I can negotiate getting to a solo meetup. That's one of the things that I fuss at them about a lot. Fuss at them about not being able to get the scooters at the terminals. I'm working on, yeah, I've got a proposal in to get them to change that. That's still, that's, yeah, I probably would rank them number one right now for me. I've never been on a celebrity ship, so I can't comment on celebrity. I've never been on any of the what I call boutique lines, the smaller lines that are get pretty expensive because I've never had the financial wherewithal to sail on the more expensive type of cruising. Um, See, I would probably rank it Royal Caribbean, Holland America, MSC Norwegian Carnival, I guess. That's just me. And again, I like all of them. And probably the only one is because I'm older with Carnival and the party atmosphere is just I'm not as much of a party guy as I used to be. And I was always in the middle of that. I mean, they used to call the bar next to the casino Chillie's Bar on a bunch of ships because I'd have $1,000 per cruise bar bill. So yeah, that was in the days when you get drinks cheap too. I agree with the plan, Sonny. I've suggested this on multiple occasions to John Heald. People really do take 15 per day as a challenge. Yeah, that's just ridiculous. Nikki says that's why we call you the kid. Yep. I would say Chillie's favorite is MSC. Think cheap. Well, yeah, I try to get by as cheaply as possible, and I hate paying double. What I could, excuse me, what I consider double, which is not necessarily. I understand the reasons that I'm paying for the same price that same space that a couple pays for. I understand all that. But yeah, I try to keep things as cheap as possible so I can do more. That's why I also don't care if I'm on an inside cabin. I can do an inside cabin on 3 cruises instead of one balcony cabin. Oh, I would rather do 3 cruises than one. So the cruise I booked this morning, I booked an inside cabin. Yeah, I'm cheap. I'm sorry, but I am. Cindy says I would say Chillie's favorite is Royal. Yeah, that's correct. Awesome answer. Appreciate the insight and expertise. Well, I don't know. Insight, yeah. Expertise? I don't know. I can give you some expertise on how to drink a bourbon and Diet Coke if you want. Now, I'm really good at that. All right, guys. That's going to wrap it up for today. I'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place, for Wednesday Travel and Cruise Industry News Podcast. If you're new to this channel, we always appreciate thumbs up. That helps the channel out a lot. If you have not subscribed, please consider doing so. It doesn't cost you a thing. And one of these days, I might have 10,000 subscribers. One of these days, I might have 5,000 subscribers. That would be wonderful, too. But anyway, we appreciate you subscribing, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when I go live or when a new video is posted. And I am posting lots of videos now. I'm doing lots of stuff with shorts and Instagram and TikToks. I need to do some more long form videos as well, but I'm working on it. So, all right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. I'll see everybody back here tomorrow. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, think about cruising, and hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas. Have a fabulous day, y'all. See you tomorrow.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.